Good afternoon, everyone. As you can see, I've just finished cutting my grass. You know, you can tell a lot about a man from the clothes that he chooses to wear when he cuts the grass. Some dads are kind of sporty dads. They're wearing athletic clothes. They're looking trim and fit. They do that because cutting the grass for them is exercise. Some dads go for the old man look. You know, the shorts that are too thin, long socks pulled way up, and a tank top with holes in it. They cut the grass just so they can yell at children and tell them to get off the lawn. Guys like me, we dress more like a 90s sitcom dad. And the reason that is cutting the grass feels like participating in some grand cosmic comedy or tragedy, as the case may be, because you're doing something that you're just going to have to do again in a week. There's a level of futility that comes when you're cutting the grass. I don't know what jobs or tasks you have that sometimes it just feels like utter futility. It's like, why am I doing this? I'm going to have to do this again. Well, I find myself cutting the grass and contemplating these kinds of philosophical, theological, existential questions, which is probably another reason I don't like cutting the grass. And I find myself going to places like Genesis chapter 3, where after Adam and Eve sinned, God said, you know, the dirt's going to be hard when you're working. There's going to be thorns and there's going to be thistles, and it's just going to be tough. But that's not really satisfying, is it? That doesn't compel me to want to cut the grass. I think it's important for us to have a biblical worldview in everything we do, from the most spiritual things to the most mundane things, like cutting the grass. And what does that mean to have a biblical worldview? It means to interpret the things we do through the Bible. So how do I find meaning? How do I find justification in the mundane nature of cutting the grass? Let me read to you from Jeremiah 29. Thus says Yahweh of hosts, the God of Israel, to all the exiles whom I've sent into exile from Jerusalem to Babylon. So God's saying this to his people who are in exile. They're in a place not their home. Things seem very bad. They're suffering. He says in verse 5 to them, this is his command to them in exile. Build houses and live in them. Plant gardens and eat their produce. Take wives and have sons and daughters. Take wives for your sons and give your daughters in marriage that they may bear sons and daughters. Multiply there and do not increase. But seek the welfare of the city where I've sent you into exile, and pray to Yahweh on its behalf, for in its welfare you will find your welfare. God tells Israel, listen, I've taken you to this place. Yes, it's not ideal, and a lot of this stuff feels pointless. But plant gardens, do family life, be a blessing to your city, pray for your city. That's why I cut the grass. So I don't have snakes in my yard that bite my kids and that bother my neighbors. I want to be a good neighbor, a good citizen. And that may not be the most exciting or the most fun thing, but it's a good thing. It's a meaningful thing. It's a purpose-filled thing. So what is it in your life that feels like, oh man, if I do this, I'm just going to have to do it again later today or tomorrow or next week? Go to the scriptures, and what you'll find there is purpose, meaning, hope, and a reason to get out the lawnmower one more time and just do it all over again. Well, I hope you're all having a wonderful day. This will be my last video for this week until Sunday morning. So Sunday morning at 10:30, be on faithpreschurch.org for this Sunday's worship service. Last, before you subscribe, if you'd like to participate in next week's worship service, you'd like to record a little video of yourself doing a scripture reading or something like that, shoot me a text so I can know. And especially kids, we've got some cool ideas because next Sunday is going to be Palm Sunday. Love you guys. We'll see y'all later. Don't have too much fun cutting the grass this weekend.